Place your marinating skirt steak in the fridge from 4 to 12 hours. Now we need to cut up some vegetables for the fajitas. Thinly slice 1 jalapeno, 1 red pepper, 1 green pepper, and half of 1 yellow onion. On the pellet grill, we're going to open up the heat shield to allow for direct heat. Flip your skirt steak regularly for even heating. Hold the steak at the internal temperature of 135 to 145. For a margarita, we need 2 ounces of reposado tequila, 1 ounce of dry curacao, 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Add ice to the shaker and shake rigorously. Add ice to our glass and pour the margarita in. When slicing your fajita steak, you need to go against the grain to create the smallest possible fibers. All that is left is to make your fajitas and top with any toppings you like. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, to get some seasoning on the pork roulette, we're going to start with some yellow mustard. Going to cover with some Holy Voodoo from Meat Church again. Make sure we get the sides. And then on the fat side, cover with some, I'm going to score into the fat, Holy Voodoo from down to the meat. Make sure we get the sides. And a cross pattern. And again, some mustard. And then more Holy Voodoo. Okay, I'm going to let this sit in the fridge overnight and we'll start smoking in the morning. Let's get this fire started. Okay, once we reach 250 degrees on the pit and we've held it for a while, got some nice clean smoke going, we're going to throw the pork butt on. Okay, we're going to let this go pretty much untouched, just monitoring the pit temperature. Make sure it stays around 250. So about 3 hours in, we're sitting at about 120 degrees inside. We want to start spraying the meat, not the fat, so let's get the side here. Keep it from drying out too much. Like I said, you don't want to spray the fat cap, just the meat on the sides. Keep it from drying out. All right, we've reached 270 degrees internal today, so I'm going to pull the pork butt off. We're going to wrap it. We're going to do the method from Chud's Barbecue on a foil boat method. Ooh. Look at that. Ooh. So it's going to bring the foil up to protect the sides. And allow the heat to hit the fat cap and render it down some more. We'll let that go until it reaches about 200 degrees inside. So after it reached 203 degrees internal temperature and was probe tender, there we go. Take it out of this foil, put it in a container. Ooh, already falling apart. Put all the juices back in. All right. Grab that bone, see what it comes out as. Perfectly clean. Still hot, even after sitting for an hour. There it is, folks. My first cook on the new Workhorse 1975 pit. A delicious smoked pork butt. Just throw some on a bun, add some sauce, and you're good to go. I use some hot habanero barbecue sauce that I made previously, but you can use any sauce that you like. Even throw some coleslaw on. I'll throw a card up to my hot habanero sauce video just in case you missed it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. half a cup of butter melted. Once that's melted, we're going to throw in half a yellow onion until translucent. Alright, after simmering for about 8 minutes, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. Here I have some homemade habanero jam, about 6 ounces. Will go in. 2 ounces by weight, light brown sugar. Half a cup of apple cider vinegar. Heavy pinch of salt. A heavy pinch of pepper. I like to put some barbecue sauce in. Here I'm going to use Holy Cow by Meat Church. And again, just a heavy pinch. And then a cup and a half of ketchup. Let this simmer. Okay, so after simmering for about 20 minutes, one thing I like to do is to hit it with an immersion blender. Completely optional step, you don't have to. I just like to break up the onions a bit more. Alright, all that's left now is to jar or bottle it. And there we have it, folks. A super easy barbecue sauce that you can make at home for super cheap. Leave the habanero out of it if you don't like the heat. Buy your own barbecue sauce if you want to make it easier. And you can even buy the habanero jelly on Amazon if you don't want to make it yourself. Customize it however you like. Hope you enjoy. Alright folks, today we're going to do some Caribbean jerk shrimp. We're going to start off by peeling and deveining about 1 pound of number 10 to 15 shrimp. Just grab the legs and pull the shell off. And once you have the shell removed, just run a knife down the back side of the shrimp. You will expose the vein. Just pull it out. Once all the shrimp are clean, rinse them off in the sink and dry. Here I'm going to use some store-bought Caribbean jerk sauce. Just pour enough in and toss the coat. Let the shrimp set for several hours, up to overnight in the fridge. Now we're going to take the shrimp out of the sauce and put on a wire rack to drain. Now we need to get all the shrimp onto skewers. We should be able to get 3 to 4 shrimp per skewer. Here I have the direct heat grate over some burning oak. We are going to turn the shrimp regularly for even cooking. Once the shrimp are pink in color and reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees, we'll pull them off. And there you have it, some quick and easy Caribbean jerk shrimp cooked over an open flame. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos or anything else you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below. Okay, when making chicken wings, the first thing you want to do is separate your wings. These came from Costco, pre-cut, so I'm not going to have to do that today. And the next thing you want to do is, chicken doesn't bring any flavor really. You'll want to use some sort of rub. I'm going to use Texas Sugar by Meat Church here. I'm going to move everything to a wire rack and let them rest for 30 minutes. And now let that sit in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Set your smoke at 225 degrees. We're going to smoke the wings for 2.5 to 3 hours, flipping the wings every hour or so until they reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees. Okay, for our sauce, it's just 4 ingredients. It is 2 ounces of brown sugar, half a cup of sweet pork rub, half a cup of your favorite bourbon, 3/4 cup of some maple syrup. Okay, we're going to keep this at a light simmer to make sure it doesn't burn until it reduces by about 10 to 15%. Your sauce is finished when it sticks to the back of a spoon. Once the wings have been smoking for about 2 hours and they reach an internal temperature about 165, go ahead and put them in a bowl so we can add some sauce to them. I'm only going to do half here, just so I can do the flavor for the kids on the other one. Okay, then get these back on the rack. Also, we're going to put them back out in the smoker to set the sauce. For the other sauce, I'm just using red hot sweet chili. These will go on 250 for about 10 more minutes, and then we're done. There you have it. Super easy. Smoked chicken wings with 3 different sauces. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so I've been learning how to use a smoker and use it myself a couple times, so I figured the best way to prove I know what I'm doing, I'm going to have my son here, Kyle, make a rack of ribs. I'm going to do some of the cutting for him, but he's going to do all the smoking and everything. So we're just going to open these up.
trim on these. Cut off any of these little loose bits. Not too much to cut off. Looks good. All right, Kyle, we need to peel this membrane off. How do we want to do that? See this piece that's separating? There's some black gloves up there. You want to put a pair of those on? Go ahead and put a second one on.
Okay.
Alright, so I want to take the paper towel and just grab this and pull it straight back, keep it low so it doesn't split into pieces.
Yeah.
So grab that, put your other hand here, one hand here, and pull that back. Should come off in one piece. It's getting caught back here. Okay, keep going. Sit that over there. And we missed just a little bit. Okay. Now we just need to put a little bit of seasoning on this. Nothing else to cut off really. I do have a broken bone, so I'm going to just cut that off. This entire rib. And this, see how this end's real thin? No one's going to want to eat. That's just going to burn. So I'm just going to cut that rib off also. Here we have honey hog barbecue. We're going to use this to season. So what we're going to do is just put some on this side. Make sure you get the ends here. We'll flip it over. We'll do the other side. And then we'll let it sit for a few minutes so it can tack up.
Do I need my gloves back on?
No. Make sure you get here also. And up here. If you hold it a little bit more sideways. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. Not a little bit more sideways and it comes out on its own. Get over here. Okay, in about 15 more minutes, this will be all wet and we'll be ready to put it on. We'll get the fire started while we're waiting. Okay, our rub is set and our pit is up to temperature. We're going to go ahead and use both your hands, pick up those ribs. There you go. And just lay it right on these grates like you have it. Okay, we're going to keep the pit about 275 for a couple hours and we'll bring you back. All right, it's been about 3 hours at 275 throughout the cook. It's time to pull the ribs off. First, everything we're going to do is we're going to take this butter, lay it on our foil, and a little bit of our sauce that we've been using to coat the ribs in. All right, going to pull these off. Kyle. 2 hands, grab those. 2 hands. Okay. Put the meat side down on the butter, meat side, so flip them over. Okay. A little bit more of our sauce. Okay. I'm going to fold these in. Lift that up. Wrap it tight. I'm going to take it, put it back on the pit. Same way down, just put it back on there. Same spot. Nope, same side down. All right, about another hour, we'll check back in. All right, so it's been an hour since we wrapped. Time to pull them off. Kyle, just set those on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to flip these over. All right, so I'm going to put the sauce on, and Kyle here is going to spread the sauce out. We're going to put them back on for about 15 minutes to let the sauce tack up. That looks good. And we're just using off the shelf Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce. All right, we're going to put these back on for about 15 more minutes.
Sorry.
And we'll check back in with you. All right, it's been 15 minutes since we put the barbecue sauce on. We're going to pull it off. Kyle, grab here, grab here. Put it down. All right. Oh, that looks good. So I'm going to put some gloves on real fast. Grab this off there. I'll slice it up for you and have you give it a shot real fast. Tell us what you think. So your first offset cook, Kyle, what do you think?
It looks good.
Looks good?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn this over just to get a good cut on the rib. All right, let's see what you think. We're going to cut you a nice big slice here. It's going to be hot. All right, Kyle. Nice big smoke ring. We're juicy. All right, Kyle, come around. All right, take a bite. What do you think?
It's really good.
Is it tender?
Mm-hmm.
Nice and juicy?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about your first cook on the offset smoker?
I think it's a really nice smoker.
You want to do more of it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, and also tell me what you want Kyle to cook more in the future. I have an idea for a pork butt I want him to try in a couple weeks. He would tell you, but he can't stop eating the ribs that he just made. So please, just tell me what you like him to make, and we'll get that on in the future for you. Today I have an experiment. What happens if you put these hot mustard Doritos on a pork butt? We're going to start off by taking about half of the bag of Doritos and blending them up. And also, I'm going to put in Honey Hog Barbecue by Meat Church. I'd say that's around 4 tablespoons that I just put in. Then we're going to blend this until it turns into a powder. Now that we have our Doritos ready, we just need to get our pork butt going. This is just a standard 8-pound bone-in pork butt. Just kind of dry it off real fast. We're not going to do any trimming. I am going to use a binder today of some Frank's Red Hot. Start putting our Doritos mixture on. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for about 30 minutes. I'm going to go outside and get my fire started. Made a rookie move today. Went to go start my fire. I'm all out of propane, so I'm going to have to do it a different way. Luckily I keep some fire starters on hand. And Lucy wants to make sure they're good to go. All right, charcoal's nice and hot. All right, we got our pit rocking right around 250, 275. I'm going to throw the pork butt on. Not going to touch it for about 2 hours. Just going to keep the temperatures even on the smoker. Okay, we're about 2 hours in. Just over 100 degrees internal. I'm going to start spraying the sides, not the fat cap. We don't want to reduce the temperature of the fat cap. We want to let it continue to render, so we're just going to hit the sides. This is a 50-50 mix, apple cider vinegar and water. We'll continue to spritz about once every 30 minutes. Okay, we've been maintaining our 250 to 275 degrees Fahrenheit. We now have the fat completely rendered. This goes right through it to the touch. So it's time to wrap. Simple sheet of aluminum foil. Place our thermometer back in. Okay. Continue cooking until we reach about 200 degrees inside, and then after that we'll just continue to probe for tenderness. We reached an internal temperature of about 204 degrees, and it's been probing pretty tender for a good while, so let's go ahead and take it off. Did add an extra tray underneath just to catch some of the juices that we're starting to fall out. We will let this rest and we'll pull it here shortly. Okay, we've cooled down quite a bit. It's about 160 inside. Unwrap, see what we have. Meat gives no resistance whatsoever. There again, you can see the bone. No meat stuck to it, just fell right off. Should let that cool down a little bit more. It is still extremely hot. Okay, let's give it a little taste here see if we need to add more seasoning or anything. I have an idea. Let's take the remainder of I didn't use. Let's add some more honey hog to this. There we go. Just needed some more, a little bit more flavor and some of that salt from the seasoning. There we go. I think that was a success. If you give this a try, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy these types of videos, give me a like and subscribe.
Today, we are going to make pizzas in the Workhorse 1975 smoker. One pizza in the smoke chamber and one pizza in the firebox. Which one will be better? We are going to start off with 500 grams of flour and 15 grams of salt. 350 grams of 95-degree water. We're going to add 5 grams of sugar and 1 packet or 10 grams of active yeast. Mix to combine. While the yeast is doing its thing, pulse the dry ingredients together. We are going to add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and mix for 15 minutes. I had an issue with the dough setting on my processor, so I had to swap to a mixer halfway through. After mixing for 15 minutes, let rest for 15 additional minutes, and then mix again for 5 minutes after the 15-minute rest. Now we need to grease a large bowl with food lube and place the dough inside, then cover with a towel or plastic wrap. Let this sit on the counter for 2 to 2.5 hours. While the dough is resting, we can start making our pizza sauce. Start by crushing or dicing up 5 large garlic cloves or 7 small cloves. Heat some olive oil in a saucepan and brown the garlic. Once the garlic is browned, we're going to add 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Some Italian seasoning, some Meat Church Holy Cow seasoning, some white sugar, and some salt. Mix to combine. Once mixed, don't forget to taste test your sauce. Here I decided I needed more Italian seasoning, so just add that, mix again, and give it another taste. And we can let this cool in the refrigerator overnight. After the 2.5-hour rest period, we're going to divide our dough into 2. Just dump it out onto a floured cutting board. Split it in half. Place each half of the dough in its own bowl, coated with food lube. Cover and store in the refrigerator up to 24 hours. Remember to pull the dough out about 1 hour before cooking to let it warm up. When ready, stretch your dough onto a floured cutting board or a pizza peel and stretch the dough out. Spread out some of our cooled pizza sauce. Add your toppings. Here I am using some Doritos hot mustard pulled pork I made in a previous video. Here I'm using Colby pepper jack cheese. They were out of block and shredded, so I'm just using slices. When ready, put your pizza on a preheated pizza stone in your smoker running at about 500 degrees. Here I'm using the baffle plate to force the heat directly down on top of the pizza. Check and rotate the pizza often. It'll cook pretty fast from here. All right, the pulled pork pizza is done. We're going to pull this one off and we're going to get the kids' pizza ready. It's just a simple cheese pizza. For the second pizza, we just move the stone over to the firebox. And same thing, we're just going to constantly keep an eye on the pizza, make sure it doesn't burn, and rotate as necessary. Once finished, pull it off and we'll get these cut up. I did end up losing some footage about my thoughts on the pizzas. I can say that the pulled pork pizza on the left that was cooked in the smoke chamber is better in every way, and it cooked in about half the time. If you try this, have any other thoughts or suggestions, please let me know by posting them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, help me out by hitting that thumbs up and subscribe button. I wanted to start a new series for salt and pepper only fans. This is where I will not use any other seasoning, injection, spritz, or flavoring of any kind besides salt and pepper. So join me on my salt and pepper only fans. Our first cook here on Salt and Pepper Only Fans is going to be this pork loin. I picked it up from a local store on sale for only $1 total. The first thing to do is open it up. We are going to dry it off a little bit, as we only use salt and pepper, no mustard, oil, any other binder. Now we just need to do a bit of trimming. These thin areas and parts that are just hanging off are going to burn up in the cooker. Once they're gone, it's time to season. We're going to start off with some Diamond Crystal kosher salt. Followed by some 16 mesh black pepper. Here the pepper is going to help attract more smoke flavor to the meat, so be generous with your pepper. Never forget the sides. After seasoning, let rest for 15 minutes. Now we're going to insert our ThermoPro temp spike wireless meat thermometer. I got the pit right at 250 degrees and put the pork loin on. This shot is actually about 45 minutes in when I started to spritz with pure water. I do want to hit this quite often with water due to there not being a lot of intermuscular fat in this cut, and I do not want the outside to dry out. We are about 3 hours into the cook now. The temps are steady about 250, and I've been out here spraying every half an hour. Just waiting for the temps to get up to about 160 to 165 inside, and then we're going to wrap. It took just over 4 hours to get the bark where I wanted it and the temps to hit 165. I was going back and forth, and if I should just pull this off here, but I want to see what would happen if we pushed it a bit higher in temps. So pressing on, wrap the loin, and keep the pit between 250 and 275 degrees. An hour after wrapping the pork loin, the internal temperature was at 190 and it was time to pull it off the pit. After probably too short of a rest of 30 minutes, it was getting late and people wanted to eat. Time to unwrap and see what we got. All right, let's cut in, take a look at the inside. Great smoke ring, not the juiciest piece of meat. And it looks like it might be time to replace this knife. All said and done, the flavor was amazing. The only thing I would change would be to have not wrapped and pulled it off at about 170 degrees internal, and then let it fully rest down to 140 degrees. If you find pork loin in your local store for only $1, pick it up and give this a try. It absolutely does work. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.
It's fine, you're a small rack. Everyone loves a small rack too. You don't have to be big. Oh, how embarrassing. You caught me talking to my meat for my salt and pepper only fans. Well, today we're going to be doing a lamb rack of ribs, Frenched, with salt and pepper only. Alright, here's the meat for our salt and pepper only fans. We're going to do a rack of lamb ribs. Pat them dry. Look for anything that needs cut off. Maybe that. Right. On the membrane, we're just going to score it. Okay. Nothing else to do to it but to put some salt and pepper on it. All right, just going to let these sit for about 30 minutes before we get the pit up to temperature. All right, we're sitting right about 250 where we're planning on staying. Just going to put those on and we'll check back later. All right, here we are sitting at about a perfect 225. Check on these. Give these a 90-degree turn. All right, check on again about another half an hour. That 1 hour check-in mark, we're going to see what these are at. Still, that's pretty hard, not rendered. I'm getting there. Hour and a half mark, let's go ahead and check on it. That's finally starting to soften up. Turn these around the other way. The meat, some water. Turn them the rest of the way so the fat's towards the fire. Try to render that down. These lamb ribs have been on for 2 hours. Let's give them a check. Yeah, that's starting to render nicely. Don't need to spray or anything. There's plenty of juice still. Right, see you in half an hour. 2.5 hours in. Let's give it another check. Fat is really starting to render. Nice, hot, and juicy still. Just real quick, want to see where we're at. About time to pull these off. We have 175. Give another half an hour, see if we can get that fat to render down better. All right, here we are at the 3 hour mark. Get in. Beautiful smoke ring all the way around. Cut this one off and taste it. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, just salt and pepper is all this needs. This is great. Very tender. They don't just fall off the bone, so they're easy. Let the meat just fall apart. Give this a shot. Today I wanted to see the best way to treat the membrane on pork ribs. So on the first step, we're going to do it the way I normally do it. We're going to remove the membrane. Grab it with a paper towel. Hopefully, one piece. Very end didn't come off. Which might be fine. I might cut that thin bone away anyway. Worked out perfect. Alright, next. We're not going to remove the membrane, we're just going to score the membrane. Again, I'm going to trim off some of this thinner down at the end. Okay, and the membrane. And then the third set. I'm not going to touch the membrane. Again, I have this thin meat. Get rid of it. Okay, then we're going to treat these 3 sets of ribs the same way. Pepper. And then salt.
And add some honey hog seasoning from meat jerky.
When these go on, we have untouched membrane, scored membrane, removed membrane. Kind of let these go between 225 and 250.
All right, here for even cooking, we're going to move everything one spot to the left.
So now we have our unmodified, our peeled, and our scored. All right, continue these around 225 to 250. So at the 2 hour mark, we're just going to rotate again. Scored. Completely removed. I'm going to put the untouched in the middle. While we're in here, I'm going to give this a quick spray. Apple cider vinegar and water, 50-50 ml. Time to get these wrapped. pads of butter down. Meat side down, these are the scored. More butter. These should be the untouched. They are. A bit of liquid. And then we have our removed membrane. Yeah. All right, let these go. Okay, so time to try these out. All right, looks like we're gonna start with where the membrane was removed. Smoke ring all the way around. Very good all around rib. So we're going to go to the, should be the scored. Okay. See, this is the scored one. Cut on the wrong side of the bone. A little bit less of a smoke ring on the bottom, just as big on the top though. Membrane definitely did not make a taste difference or a texture difference. Decent smoke ring on top, not much on the bottom. So for the amount of work that went into it, there's a slight texture difference on the don't remove the membrane, but on the scored, yeah, for the no work being done, I definitely recommend scoring your membrane. Don't worry about removing it. And it's just as easy to score it as it is to leave it on. Alright, hope you enjoyed my experiment. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you like this video, like and subscribe.
Let's start pounding.
Never pound for camera before. You have to like make it look good.
Pornhub would like this.
This video is a high-level overview of cooking 2 briskets for an event at work. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about trimming, just the basics. On the bottom here, we just want to get rid of this large chunk of speckle fat, and then shave off any silver skin and visible fat. You can shave none of it off, or all of it, just however much time you want to spend on it. Spend that much time on it. Here we're going to cut off what's called the mohawk. If you leave it on there, it's so thin, it's just going to burn and not cook evenly. So just get rid of it. Use the meat for burgers, sausages, tacos, anything you want to use ground beef for. By trimming off the sides, you can get a good view of how much fat you have on the back part. On the thinner flat end, we're going to cut away all the thin spots and just make it more aerodynamic so air will travel around the brisket and cook it more evenly. Any fat that is hard to cut or too thick isn't going to render down very well, so just cut it away and create a shape that will allow for better airflow. the second brisket, we're just going to repeat the exact same thing. Trim the silver skin and the fat off the bottom completely, and any fat that's too thick on the top, just remove it and create an arrow banana steak. Normally when seasoning the brisket, I would go much heavier with salt and pepper, but this one doesn't work, so I dialed my seasoning back quite a bit. After seasoning, these briskets need about a 36-hour rest before cooking on Wednesday morning.
It is 5:30. We're gonna get our pit started for the briskets.
I am going to build my fire much larger than needed to make sure I get this 3/8-inch steel hot enough to help us hold temperature all day. Once the surface of the pit is about 300 degrees, we'll get the air temperature down to around 250 inside, and then we'll put the brisket on. Right, we got our head up temperature and overshot our temperature by quite a bit. Come back down to about 250. Point facing the fire. Take our fat trimmings. Put in there. All right, we'll keep about 250, maybe a little bit lower. And check on it here in a couple hours. Let's check on it at 4 hours. Foil on these ends here real fast. That's all we need. Put the foil on and see you in a couple hours. Okay, so there we are. We're 5.5 to 6 hours in right now. Still waiting on that back to get softer. I did swap the two around, so the one that's in the back pulled it to the front. I think I'm going to turn these guys around to try to get the air to come onto the fat one. Convection will bring the heat, the fat more, so they will be softer. Right, let's bring it back in that round, see where we're at. So bark is looking really good. Fat is almost where we want it. And our probe is, look at that, don't even want to poke this. Got a gusher right here.
think we're getting there. Turning this around with the right call. We'll let this fat get rendered out. I'll bring you back once we're ready to wrap.
Once the broker hit 200 degrees internal and felt like butter when inserting a probe into them, it was time to lower the temp a bit inside and hold them overnight. So both were put into a double-lined vac seal bag and left in 165 degree water bath. One tip is to leave a temperature probe in the water and have it alert you if your water temp gets below 160 degrees, if your sous vide machine fails or your power goes out. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see a more detailed video on how to trim and cook a brisket, please let me know in the comment section below. Stay tuned to see how I made these delicious, juicy hickory smoked chicken Alabama white sauce sliders.
With the breast side down, you want to take the backbone and just cut it out. If you want to, save that for stock. Alright, here are my 2 chickens that are spatchcocked. I have a 4-part pepper, 2-part salt, 2-part garlic powder, and 1 part smoked paprika, just in a shaker bottle. So I'm going to cover these completely.
Feel free to substitute boneless, skinless chicken breasts and thighs instead of using whole chicken.
Let these sit in the fridge for at least an hour up to overnight to let the flavor set in. And then I'll bring you back tomorrow.
Don't make the same mistake as me and pile up your new delivery wood on top of your old. As you can see here, I had a lot of fun getting down to the hickory wood under the full rick of oak that I just had delivered. Once I got some hickory dug out of the bottom of that pile, I got the pit up to 250 degrees and then got the chicken on the pit. The chicken will go untouched until the internal temperature reaches 135 to 140 degrees internal, and then we'll put some sauce on to finish off the cook.
Now for our sauce, we have 2 cups of Duke's mayonnaise, 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of our seasoning from earlier, or you can just use straight salt and pepper if you would like. Tablespoon and a half of our horseradish. One teaspoon of sugar. And juice of half a lemon. Just mix this all together. So after a couple hours, we've got about 140 internal. I'm gonna flip these over, so I'm putting some white sauce on these. Instead of dipping, I'm just gonna rub it in so I don't waste half the sauce from having uncooked chicken touching the rest of the sauce. And we're gonna pull it anyway, so. Okay, we'll let these go until they reach 160 inside.
These chickens have been temping at 160 for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and get them pulled off, taken inside. After the chicken cools down a bit from their 160-degree holding temperature, it's time to pull the meat. Make sure to remove the bones and cartilage you discard. Once you have the meat pulled, stop until everything is in a fine consistency.
Slider buns, chicken, that was delicious. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Here are my top 5 gift ideas for the dad that barbecues. Number 1 on my list is something I use in every cook I do, the sous vide grill gun. It's great for starting your charcoal, your splits of wood. You can also use it when you do sous vide to get the sear on the steak or on the meat that you're cooking. It's meant to be used with these 1-pound propane tanks. These get quite expensive. They don't last very long. So there's a little bonus to this I can show you. So if your dad or the barbecue dad in your life does already have the sous vide grill gun or the grill blazer, one thing you can buy is this adapter hose. It goes from your sous vide gun to a 20-pound propane tank. And this per pound is a lot cheaper than buying these. Just keep this around and it makes it much easier. Number 2 on my list is an assortment of temperature probes. Everything from the simple instant read thermometer to leave-in probes. These are from Temp Spike. I do have my issues with these Temp Spikes, so I do have meters on order. The one I use the most currently is a 6 probe reader, where you can just leave it in, put probe in the ambient, put a probe inside, read different pieces of meat in the same app. Don't have to worry about this Tenergy probe I use all the time. It has 6 different probes. So you can use in 6 different zones or in 6 different proteins at the same time. And then also an infrared instant read thermometer. You can just point it at any surface, get a temperature off that surface. Number 3 on my list is some seasonings. If you have seasonings that you just love, chances are your father will like those just as much. These are Meat Church. I get these off Amazon. I'll definitely be picking up more of these to give away to my family members. Number 4 on my list, set of gloves. I use 2 different types of gloves. You can get cotton gloves that insulate your hands from the heat, but you can't handle protein with these gloves, or you shouldn't. So then once you have the cotton glove on, you can put a nitrile glove on top of that to protect this glove from getting nasty. Both of these will of course be links below. Number 5, but definitely not least, is a good knife, good set of knives. Here I have very cheap knives, expensive knives. I use them all equally. The good thing about the cheap knives is if I'm outside doing a trim and I drop this knife, it's $5 to $10 to replace it. Same thing with my slicer. I think this was 18 bucks. So if I drop it, no big deal. The Dow Strong knives tend to only use these inside and on the wood cutting board, because I do not want to damage these knives as much. These are $80 to $150 per knife. If you have good knives, you can get them as steel so you can keep the knife honed up between every use. There you have my top 5. If you feel I missed anything or should have added something, if I left anything out, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned to see how I made these amazing, delicious gyro sausages. We're going to start by slicing up some leftover brisket flat from a previous cook. Here we have about 2 to 2.5 pounds worth. Now we need to slice our lamb meat. This is roughly 2 pounds of lamb shoulder. There are several bones in this cut, so just make sure you move all the bones when you're slicing the meat up. Once all the meat is sliced, place it in the freezer for about 20 minutes to firm up. This makes grinding the meat easier. Dice up 1 red onion. Place the onion in a food processor until the onion is finely diced up. When necessary, scrape down the sides. Run all the chilled meat and the onion through the meat grinder. Here I am using a 10mm die.
For the seasoning, start by finely chopping 6 cloves of garlic. Once the garlic is minced up, put it in a skillet with some olive oil and fry until fragrant. To our meat, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of marjoram, dried oregano, cumin, dried thyme, then add our cooked garlic back in. Transfer everything to the bowl of our mixer. Let this mix on low for about 10 minutes untouched. After that 10 minutes is up, we're going to add 50 grams of milk powder, 5 grams of pink curing salt, and 25 grams of kosher salt. Add water until the mixture becomes sticky. Place the meat mixture in a container to store overnight or up to 24 hours. Cover with plastic wrap. When ready to stuff, put the meat mixture in the hopper of your sausage stuffer and pack down tightly to remove any air pockets. Run some water that your casings have been soaking in through the casing to rinse it out. Then load your casings onto the extruder tube. Tie off the end of the casing. All right, let's get our meat cased up. Once everything is all cased up, it's time to move these to a wire rack to sit in the fridge overnight. This allows the casings to dry up.
All right, let's see if we can beat the ring. All right, we'll just let these go at as low as possible. Try to keep around 140 for about 4 hours.
For the tzatziki,